We are back on Fight News Now, and it's time for 3 rounds as we throw it over to our analysts John Rambian and Robin Black as we get set for a Saturday night with approximately 78,000 fights.
I don't know how in the world we're going to be able to cram in the UFC, Bellator, World Series of Fighting, and Cage Warriors. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. However, when you look in the grand scheme of things, some very interesting matchups and some very entertaining fights in this weekend.
Never mind us jamming them all in, just talking about them. Glennie Mack, our buddy, is in our ear. He's like, you got 6 minutes to talk about that. That's like 2 fights. There's 700 fights.
Okay, we got to talk then. We'll get right to it, talk about Mark Hunt and Fabricio Werdum for the UFC Interim Heavyweight Championship of the world. Can Mark Hunt do it? We know that he's skilled. Everybody's rooting for Mark Hunt. He doesn't look like a typical athlete. He lays guys out, and people love to watch that. The casual fans love to watch that. The hardcore fans love to watch it. But can he take out Fabricio Werdum, who's one of, if not the best jiu-jitsu submission fighter in all of mixed martial arts, who's improved his striking by leaps and bounds since his days in the Pride Fighting Championships? Does Fabricio Werdum use his size and strength and get this fight down to the ground? And you talked about it on your breakdown. Mark Hunt has to get up. He cannot allow Fabricio Werdum to hold him down. He doesn't know all the details. Fabricio Werdum is a world champion. Mark Hunt has to make sure that if he's going to get up, he's doing all the right things so that Fabricio Werdum doesn't choke him unconscious.
Yeah, you know, if you want to check out that breakdown, Google 5 rounds and breakdown. You'll see a guy who looks like a strip club DJ with goofy hair and a crazy outfit talking about Mark Hunt and what he's got to do. And it is tricky. For sure it's tricky. The guy has to stay so far disengaged. When he comes in and does damage, get back out. But he will be on the ground, and you're absolutely right. It's a mindset to get yourself in a state of constantly getting to your feet. Never surrender the position. Never say, well, I'm in guard, I better play from here. You do that, you're done. You're done. So he's got to be in that state of constantly getting to his feet. If he's in that state, is Werdum good enough to move onto his back or improve his position? The answer is very, very probably.
An outstanding matchup. Ricardo Lamas takes on Dennis Bermudez, as well as Jake Ellenberger taking on Ultimate Fighter winner Calvin Gastelum in Mexico. Also on Saturday night, the Bellator organization trying to steal some of the thunder away from the UFC. Stephan Bonnar taking on Tito Ortiz in the main event. Will Bellator steal some of the fans away, steal some of the eyeballs away from the world's biggest organization?
Yeah, they're going to succeed in doing that this time for sure. You know, there's those people, there's you and myself and Pollock and a number of our friends who watch everything. Then that next level is people who watch fights. Hey, Saturday night, there's a great card. Ortiz and Bonnar is that for people. They know those names. They know who these guys are. Tito Ortiz still moves the needle, and some people are going to watch it. But you know what? If you're Bellator, you get them, you hook them with that one, but you hook them forever with some of the fights underneath.
Exactly. In the co-main event, the lightweight championship of the world, Michael Chandler taking on Will Brooks in this interesting rematch because, you know, I think you look back a year ago, a lot of people had Michael Chandler because you just never know. Because it's Bellator, because it's UFC, is this guy a legit top 10 as a lightweight? Comes in, loses to Will Brooks. Not a lot of people knew who Will Brooks was. As a matter of fact, I don't think anybody picked Will Brooks going into this fight, but he has his opportunity to cement his spot not only as their best lightweight, but as a contender in mixed martial arts at the world stage.
Yeah, and Bellator has an opportunity to just really show us another great fight, and it is. In lightweight fights, they've had 3, 4, 5 of the best 10 or 15 or 20 fights over the last couple of years. That's legit. Michael Chandler's the real thing. He's exciting.
Yep.
He puts together boxing and wrestling in a way that's really palatable to somebody who loves fighting. You get his style. It isn't like, oh, well, he's on the ground now, I can go get a beer. He goes to the ground, and it's just as exciting, it's just as dynamic. And but Brooks is the real deal too, man, and he could stay the champ.
But before we get to the lightweight championship of the world, you have Melvin Manhoff taking on Joe Schilling. Joe Schilling, Glory Tournament winner. Melvin Manhoff just knocks everybody unconscious. What's interesting is that Joe Schilling, working with Nick Diaz for the last number of years. Joe Schilling was one of Nick Diaz's kickboxing coaches or Muay Thai coaches, and now Nick Diaz returning the favor. I think we'll see a new part of Joe Schilling's game. You look at his record, 1 win, 3 losses. I have a feeling we're going to see a very different Joe Schilling.
Yeah, and Melvin has 7 million fights in combat sports and a lot of MMA fights too. I was thinking if I was Melvin Manhoff, you go in there and you shoot. You take this guy down, you go to work on the ground and just see what he's learned from the Diaz brothers. You know Melvin a little bit from your travels doing K1 commentary. You don't think there's any way he'll do that?
No, that's not his thing. His thing is to go out and try to knock guys down. And of course, it's all about the win. It's all about getting another victory on your mixed martial arts resume. But Melvin Manhoff, he's a fighter. He wants to go and show the fans what he does best, and that's knock people
It's
out.
fun punching guys in the head when they're in guard, too. It's really fun to do. It's a lot easier. Tito Ortiz does it really well, and I really hope that's what we get to see this weekend from Ortiz, is that old school ground and pound. You don't have to be a new fighter. You're almost 40 years old. Do what you've always done well. Do it exciting, and we'll dig it.
Cage Warriors featuring Joe Duffy, who was 11-1 as a mixed martial artist. He has a victory over Conor McGregor. Watch out for this guy. Also, the World Series of Fighting happens. The main event, their middleweight championship of the world, featuring Yushin Okami taking on Dave Branch, the champion. But in the co-main event, an outstanding one, Justin Gaethje taking on Melvin Guillard. Gaethje, 25 years of age, works at the Grudge Training Center with some of the best guys in Denver. But we all know, John, Melvin Guillard, all it takes is one punch for this guy. Justin Gaethje, very, very exciting, but a reckless style, and I think that's why I love him.
Two Melvins fighting on Saturday, and combined they have about 78,000 fights between them. Thank you very much, guys. And for a full rundown of the three-way madness on Saturday night, tune into 5 Rounds next Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, as John and Robin will break down all of the highlights. We'll take a short time out, and coming back on the other side, it's a look at the Assassin's Creed Unity game, as well as our weekly viral video and more as Fight News Now continues.